Hey everyone, welcome to the Electric SuperCar channel. Oh my gosh, do I go through this? It's got the thumbs down. Some weeks we have success, others it takes a long time. The mains contactor did not close, dang it. Yeah, God.
Okay, I expect it to fail right here just like it did before, but...
Yeah, so when you... Oh, shit.
It's been a while since we put out a video, and there are reasons for that. As soon as it pops up, it says commission failed.
Not quite the outcome I was hoping for.
So I've been struggling mightily with the MGA. This week, we're gonna show you all the painful troubleshooting. Let's get to it. We have a new partner. It is ApexCharger. They are the preferred EV charger of the Electric SuperCar channel. Now, I have reviewed a lot of chargers, and let me show you why I prefer this one. So they really took a new approach to how to look at chargers. They looked at all the shortcomings and some of the issues and glitches that other systems had, and they've really addressed all of them. All right, first things first, we're gonna power on. It's full-on color LED screen. So it's got status, it says unplugged, session time 0, current is at 48 amps, voltage is 240, temperature 71 degrees. 6, 8, 10, 13, 16, 20, 24, 32, 40, 48. That is awesome. I believe this is the highest powered device that I've reviewed that you can actually plug in, not hardwired. This one you can also hardwire though. Do you know that you'll likely change your car twice before you'll change your EV charger once? They wanted to remove the anxiety over which EV charger to pick. So this provides up to 9 times faster charging, boasting 48 amps of charge. With the charger comes 24/7, 365 contact support. So he says response times are usually less than an hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try. You got Facebook Messenger or email. I'm just gonna try email here. All right, so it is 2:58 my time. All right, it's sent. We'll see when they get back to me. So 3:12, this is about, what, 15 minutes later. So I just did a random question where I said, hey, can you help me find the app? They responded, I'll show it on the screen here. So yeah, within 15 minutes, 24/7. All right, so the app's up and it's already detected this. So again, you don't have to do anything. You just log into the app. It automatically just said, hey, I found one. Do you wanna add it? So you say yes. It says it was added successfully. All right, right here, we're just gonna swipe to start charge. I heard the car's onboard charger kick on, so yep. And then we've got right here, there's the voltage, current, power. If you're in need of a charger, this is a great option. It's got the best power that I've seen. It's got the longest cable that I've seen. It's got all the options for charging with RFID, app, or just plug and play. We will be seeing these guys again as they are now a new partner, so please go visit their site and pick up a charger today. To start off this video, troubleshooting is kind of like picking a lock. There's lots of kind of obstacles or things in the way that all have to line up just right in order to have success. So like picking a lock, we're gonna kind of go through this kind of pin by pin or tumbler by tumbler and show you what the solution was to each one. For those of you who are new to the channel, I got this 1958 MGA. A customer bought an electric kit that's supposed to work with this and asked if I could help out. And I said, sure, how hard could it be? All right, so you might be wondering what I mean. This is the part of the build where you're trying to put everything together and nothing was really meant to go together. It's kind of just taking components from various places and trying to make them work. So we got a lot of that going on today. Let's get to it. All right, as I'm troubleshooting, one of the things I am going to fix are these, I'm gonna call them, what am I gonna call these, like terminal leads, terminal blocks. They've got screws and some of these were already connected and I just noticed that they were screwing onto the wire. That's not, from what I've read and seen, that's not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have some like ferrules that are crimped on. So I went and bought a tool and a whole bunch of ferrules, and I'm gonna go ahead and crimp on all these so it can be a little more secure connection. All right, I talked with some of the guys at Electric GT. They've helped me with the wiring diagram. So apparently there needs to be a wire that goes to the Precharge for the SME controller, and that's not on this diagram, but they were able to kind of help me figure out which wire needs to go where. All right, so this is the wiring diagram I was going off of, and originally, so wire 38 here, Pro 2 switch, says SME 18. And basically what they've told me is that they don't use that connection anymore, and that 38 can now go to Precharge spot. So they gave me some extra information here. And so we got here 38. Yeah, this is the SME Precharge, and this will be a high voltage wire. So we're gonna use orange. And I've also found where I spliced it in my bundle, because this is going to the high voltage junction box, and this other bundle goes to the controller. So this is the wire that I need to cut and splice. All right, so on the motor controller, so right there says Precharge. So that's where we need this new wire to go. So we got the new wire fished through. We're just gonna put that on there and on there, and then we'll try things again. All right. We're getting ready to try the MGA again. So last time we had two faults. One was Precharge and the other one was isolation. BMS comms air. I wonder if it's those ones up front that I just changed. All those ones are not reading. So let's take a look. All right, I forgot to plug in the cell taps. So let's do that real quick. All right, we are trying again. This time we plugged in the cell taps. Hopefully it's happier. So we've got much better isolation. Everything seems to be up and running. No Precharge error. So let me go do some testing. All right, so we're right around 100% isolation. I'm pretty sure we don't have high voltage connecting. All right, so we are into troubleshooting, fixed a couple wires. Apparently we don't have any more error messages or faults. When I turn it on, it doesn't give me any messages about isolation. It also doesn't give me any messages about Precharge. So in theory, those are good. That being said, I do not believe that it is closing or creating the high voltage circuit. Right now, there is not high voltage that is measurable coming out of the high voltage junction box. So the DC to DC converter is not able to convert to 12 volts. Yeah, I don't know what, I'm guessing, I don't know how the controller works, but if I measure the points on the controller, those don't have high voltage across those either. So I think those should have high voltage. So I'm thinking the high voltage junction box still is not able to create a high voltage circuit. So I'll have to keep digging, figure out what's going on. Timeout. I'm gonna have to break into this video several times just to help try and explain it. There's a lot going on, and I think it's better if you know before I do in the video what's going on. With the correct wiring diagram, we now had the wire going to the Precharge spot, which cured both problems. So no longer was high voltage going to places where it wasn't supposed to, but also the wire going to the Precharge was going to where it was supposed to. So both those issues are now solved. So it's on to the next problem. And again, I'm gonna give you a little preview just so you guys are not completely lost while you're watching me do this. So the next problem is I was not getting any high voltage to the car. Everything was wired correctly, but no high voltage was getting anywhere where it needed to go. Usually there's a contactor that closes, and that provides high voltage to the whole system. And for whatever reason, that was not happening. Here comes the next part. So I also learned that the original wiring diagram they gave me was also wrong. I'll say it had the high voltage cabling from the battery and the controller swapped. So I now need to fix that, and hopefully that's all that's wrong, and that would be great if we can get this thing up and running. I'll tell you, initially I was a little disappointed. I had specifically asked for the up-to-date wiring instructions, and they gave me some that were not quite accurate. Now, with that being said, before people jump in the comment section, to me, everybody makes mistakes, and it's not just that you make mistakes, but it's how you deal with those mistakes. So they've kind of been owning up to it, and they've been helpful every step of the way. So still very grateful for their support, and yeah, hopefully this gets us on the road. So I've unplugged both of these, and basically they need to go to different spots on the high voltage junction box that's in there. The challenge is they are keyed. And when I say keyed, so you can see like they've got little things on the top and bottom, and they're keyed such that you can't plug them into, I'll call them the wrong slots, but since we didn't have the right information, they can't be plugged into the right spots. So these plugs, because we've crimped things on, there's no way to really salvage them. So what I'm gonna do, I think just to kind of test things, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grind off those keyways. I'm gonna actually cut this plug in half so we can kind of have free access to put these wherever we want. And really that's just so we can kind of make sure that if we plug things in the right way, that everything works. There we go. I think these can now be plugged in wherever. So these are now able to be plugged in wherever as well. All right, so we're gonna clean things out really good so we don't have any metal dust or things like that. Yeah, and then we'll plug things in the right way and hopefully things work. All right, so we have to take off the labels because found out that they are wrong. This side is going to the controller or inverter. This side is going to battery. Not only that, but they've got polarities switched on some of them. So we'll go ahead and make sure, double check we got the right things, and we'll plug everything in and test. The last item of clarification, so this has got a top and bottom output. This is going to the SME controller. So here, if I follow the line, so the negative is the top output, and the negative is actually going to B plus instead of B minus. So that might be correct. I just thought I should double check because we've had some miscommunications before. All right, so this was the original one, again, where if we follow the negative DC out, it goes here, and again, on the image, that looks like it's the positive side, and they're calling it negative. So I asked them about it, and they said, oh, good catch. So they sent me a new one, and now if we trace it, again, the top's negative, and it comes over here, and we've got negative input, and it's the minus beat. So that makes me feel better. Looks like we've got a better working diagram here. Probably should have said this earlier. Because the battery boxes have the isolators, these are not live wires. I've also verified that they're not live. Okay, I'm gonna double, triple check, but I think that's got everything. All right, we are gonna go ahead and turn it on again. This should be the first time that the controller's getting power. This should be the first time that the pre-charge circuit is going. Yeah, and if that's good, in theory we should have motor control, meaning we could push on the throttle and the motor should spin. Okay, so no error messages. I still didn't hear any contactors go. So let me check voltage, see if we've got any voltage. Yeah, so there's just no contactors going in there. I've done a ton of troubleshooting, and it seems like everything's pointing to the controller kind of not turning on. So I did get some advice that potentially it just needs a firmware update. So we're gonna turn on the car. We've got the cable connected. We've got the software up. Let's see if we can update the firmware. All right, I think we might be making some progress. We now have a status red light, where before we would never have a status light. So we had to update the firmware even to get it to kind of turn on and recognize. So now we'll go ahead and see if we can configure and get some things set, and hopefully we'll be that much closer to having the motor spin. All right, little by little, I think we're making progress. When I turn the car on though, the contactors won't close. So trying to figure out what is needed there. Other than that, I've done the clone files. So yeah, I think we're making a little bit of progress. I'll keep going. The SME controller is what actually controls these contactors inside the high voltage junction box. So it actually tries to turn these on. And when it was turning them on, I'll probably play a little clip here. And here is the high voltage box contactors. So it kind of hums for like 2 or 3 seconds. And then it's off, and it states that the contactors are not closed. But there's an electrical noise where it's trying to turn it on and they're not turning on. And that is because these are economizer contactors. What that means is it uses the high voltage energy to help keep things closed or open so you don't have to have that signal. That's not the right kind of contactor we need. So these ones have to be swapped out, or yeah, we got to do something with those. So yeah, kind of disappointing. So once we got all the low voltage wires going to the right place, all the high voltage wires going to the right place, you think, okay, now we're gonna get it. No. So the problem was the contactor would not close. And it's like, okay, everything should be there to close, contactor was not closing. This is where I had to reach out to some people with some deeper knowledge on these systems than me. Through a lot of painstaking effort and help from Charlie, we figured out that the contactor box, the high voltage junction box, actually had the wrong contactor in there. The kit that was supplied had an economized contactor, and that just wouldn't work with the system. So talked with the company, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, we need to get you another contactor. So they sent out a contactor. All right, we got a package. I believe this one is the correct contactor. So we'll put this one in the high voltage junction box. We'll hopefully get all the connections made correctly, and then we'll be ready to try again. All right, we had to do some major open heart surgery here. Had to take out contactors. At first I thought it was this one, but then I pinned it out. It's actually this one, which was even deeper. This leg was broken when I opened it, so I'll go ahead and patch that up. These are just 3D printed. Not the most robust, but yeah. So we're gonna swap out this contactor. Yeah, man, that's, I don't know. For me, that's kind of just a major oops. To me, well, I don't know. I won't say anything bad. We're glad for their help. All right, the nice thing about the JB Weld is it is very much an isolator, so I'm not worried about that at all. Come on. Got it? No. Okay, now it's just reassembly. What a mess. This thing was very tightly packed, so you can't get anything out without taking apart literally everything. So I had to take apart bus bars for here, had to bring this whole thing up, had to take fuses out, take this one off. So yeah, this will be quite the struggle. Got to make sure you get everything in. All right, this is another piece that broke off, I noticed. I guess I didn't notice, but I just saw it down there. This is the bottom of one of these feet here. So we'll do some more JB Weld. All right, we are back together. We've even repaired this one that was broken here and there. And basically, all that was to swap out this contactor. It was basically in the center, so we had to kind of take apart everything because the bus bars are pretty rigid. Can't do anything without removing those, and then to get to those, you had to like just take everything off. So I believe we got everything back together. I'll kind of double check, make sure everything's tight, and then we'll put it back in the car. High voltage junction box back in place. So now we are trying to communicate with the controller. this is hopefully where we get to see things are going correctly. If not, yeah, just big breath. Let's check here. Go to monitor. Still says mains contactor did not close. Dang it. I swear I'm not making this up. The company said they sent me the wrong contactor. So after I put everything together, tried it again, it still didn't work. They said, oh, we sent you a 72 volt instead of a 12 volt contactor. So we're gonna swap that one out and hopefully we have better success. All right, dug it apart, took out the wrong contactor, put in the right contactor. So it's time to see if we've got things working or what the next issue is. All right, we got the computer hooked up. We're gonna try one more time, see if we get that circuit to close. I think if that circuit closes, I think we're in a lot better shape. Sounds like it's staying on. So it says, it doesn't say we've got any errors, which is good. See what the next steps are.
Your CCW number that's on the front of your motor. But you're gonna put either 822 if you want that throttle to be throttle.
Yeah, like a little dead space.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so max for me was 2280. And that's like the rightmost box?
Yeah,
I see it. Okay, so now we want to switch to reverse.
And if you input 12 volts on your forward wire, you'll see the forward light up. And you should be able to give it throttle and it spins forward.
Because right now none of them are lit up, so that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, none of them are lit up.
All right, so I will get a jumper and put it on that one. All right, so I'm going to connect it here. Okay, so apparently I've got reverse, not forward.
So you clicked on the one that's labeled for forward and you went on reverse?
So anyways, reverse is lit up right now.
Okay, so if you give it throttle, if you have all high voltage connected and you have the green light on the controller and everything and you're off the ground, you should give it throttle. You give it throttle and it should go in reverse.
Nope. Yeah, so when I do throttle, nothing happens. Yeah.
Do you hear like a whining noise coming out of the motor?
Nope. Like I hear something, I think, from the high voltage junction box, like, you know, like a relay, but I don't hear anything up front from the motor. Okay, so configure, motor control, spin sensor, commission sensor.
Commission sensor, yeah.
So 2 hours. All right, I just went through 2 hours of troubleshooting. We're getting closer. The motor kind of lurched, but we need to do a spin calibration or something like that. So we're not quite there, so close. All right, so the next part of troubleshooting, they've asked me to get to the motor and some of the connectors there and just verify that those are good. I verified them already twice, but this means taking out the battery pack, which is not fun, but we're gonna do it again just so we can get this thing moving. The joys of troubleshooting. So as you can see, I took the whole battery pack apart, made sure that all the wires and cabling from the motor to the controller were correct. It was a little bit challenging to do with that in place, but if that was a problem, that's easy to fix. However, all those pinned out and were wired correctly, so that's not it. So we're gonna put it back together, hop on a call with some of the folks from NetGain who actually make the motor.
We're green now. Oh, the wheels are off the ground, right?
Yes.
Okay, I expect it to fail right here just like it did before, but
oh,
the motor might
it's
rotate.
doing something.
Okay.
It's never done this before.
Ah.
Whoa.
Well, it should rumble around, but not, not aggressively. I heard a whoa there.
Yeah, I don't know what it's supposed to be doing, so everything's kind of a whoa to me.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's supposed to kind of grumble for a little bit. It's just going between cogs in the magnetic poles, and it'll do that back and forth for about a minute here, and we've got commissioning done.
All right.
Go ahead and press that.
Okay, here's the throttle. Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
AnyDesk froze on me right when you were pressing that. Are you able to see which way the wheels are turning?
Let me check. Now going to the other wire. Yeah, and that's forward.
Okay. No faults still, I expect. Yeah, so it's commissioning again. Nothing I changed did anything. The software decided to work while I was watching it, I guess.
Hey, you've got the magic touch.
I don't know what else it could have been. You didn't change anything between your last attempts with Charlie and now?
No. Well, Hunter, thanks for all your help. Anything you want me to tell the YouTube audience?
Thank you for watching. I don't know. Thanks for enjoying the system.
All right.
Pretty cool.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
All right, Jeremy. You have a good one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, we just got off the phone with Hunter from NetGain, and we were able to actually get things to work. Oh my gosh, what a huge success. A lot of headaches, a lot of problems, but got it there. Whew. All right, so I just turned on the system, hooked up the wire for forward. I shouldn't even lie. That's not the wire for forward, that's the wire for reverse. Again, there's something else wrong with the high voltage junction box. But now we're gonna do the throttle pedal. So we got some movement. For whatever reason, it just didn't want to start up normally. So normally you have to commission the sensor and it kind of spins a little bit, jerks a little bit, and then it kind of finds wherever it thinks is good, and then you're good. For whatever reason, it would not do that for us. Got with Hunter from NetGain Motors, and really he said he didn't do much. He didn't know why it wasn't working, but he got it working, so now we're good. There was a lot of points along the way where they said, hey, check your wires, check your wires. It's one of those things where I hate if that's something that's my fault. Luckily, there were no wiring problems, just some, I'll call it some integration problems. I'll give you a quick recap. So the challenge was when we turned on the system, the first problem was we didn't have the correct wiring diagram. They also didn't have the pre-charge wire anywhere on the wiring diagram, and the actual wiring diagram that they supplied had the pre-charge, call it like kind of the high voltage wire, going to a different wire in the controller. So that was kind of crazy. That is what was causing a lot of our isolation problems and other problems, pre-charge problems. So when we got that to the right place, isolation problems, pre-charge problems went away. I'll say the high voltage input and output were not in the right location for the high voltage junction box that we had. So we had the wrong information there. We then had to kind of chop apart the high voltage connectors, put them in the right place. So I thought, hey, that's gonna be what it is. Got things plugged in, so all the wiring's correct now. Still having issues, and it was the contactor. Finally got that far. That's when the controller started going green. We thought we were there, but again, just lots of connectivity issues. Again, they said check wires, check wires, check wires. Went through a lot of the different settings and things, still couldn't get things to work. But finally, Hunter worked his magic, and now we're good. So I want to talk to you a little bit about customer service. In this case, the customer bought a kit, and there happened to be quite a few issues that caused a lot of time to be spent. I don't think it's necessarily fair for the customer to have to pay for all that. So here's what I'm proposing. Number one, it would be best if the company just said, yep, we're gonna cover all that cost. If that's not gonna happen though, here's what I recommend. I'm gonna call this customer appreciation, and I think this is how you guys can help. So for every like in this video, we're gonna donate 10 cents for every like in the video. So if it gets 1,000 likes, it's 100 bucks. So here's what I recommend and how you guys can help. Because again, I think here's how you guys can help. I want to help this customer not have to pay for all these expenses. So here's how you guys can help. I think for every like, I'm gonna donate to the customer 10 cents. So if it gets 1,000 likes, that's $100. If it gets 10,000 likes, that's $1,000. Here's the other part. A big part of the YouTube algorithm is also share. This little button that says share and send to somebody else. For every share, we're gonna donate $1. So I get all the statistics, and I'll let you know next video how much we helped the customer save. All right, it's been weeks, lots and lots and lots of troubleshooting, lots of helping hands all along the way. So I wanna thank all those that helped. I wanna thank Charlie, who spent a lot of time with me on the phone, also Hunter. Again, couldn't have done it without these guys, so big thanks to them. We're that much closer to getting the MGA on the road, so now that we got the motor spinning, we got to do some button-up items, and we'll take it out for a couple test drives. So stay tuned. See you next time.
Not quite the outcome I was hoping for, though.
Several faults. The mains contactor did not close. Dang it. I don't know how they'll put this.
Okay, I expect it to fail right here.
Yeah, so when you, oh shit.
As soon as it pops up, it says commission failed.